I have received a letter from the Honourable Leader of the Opposition seeking to debate under Standing Order 380 the introduction of a joint ministerial approval for access to Crown land. Standing Order 380 requires that the matter for debate be a particular case of recent occurrence involving ministerial responsibility. For there to be a particular case of recent occurrence, an event upon which an urgent debate is sought must have occurred. The purpose of the urgent debate procedure is to provide an opportunity for the House to hold the government accountable for its decisions. Ministers released a discussion paper yesterday containing a number of proposals and seeking input from the community before making decisions about the policy initiatives set out in the paper, including the introduction of joint ministerial approval. No decision has yet been made. In these circumstances, there can be no particular case of recent occurrence. This does not mean that the matter is not of sufficient importance to require the attention of the House. It simply does not meet the requirement of the urgent debate procedure at this time. The application is therefore declined. I call on Government Order of the Day number 1.
Courts Remote Participation Bill. Interrupted debate on first reading.
Jacinda Ardern was speaking and has 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining to speak should she wish to take the call.
And I do wish, Mr.
Jacinda
Speaker,
Ardern.
I did say at the end of my debate that I would return to the House, of course, to take up my remaining 2 minutes to speak to this bill, which essentially allows a widening of the use of video conferencing facilities in our court service, a critical issue of debate. I have to say I would have rather have spent my 2 minutes 30 debating the important matter of mining, but that's how these things go. I do think that actually we could distill, if I were to conclude my words of consideration around this bill, that it seems to me that the government, and I can only assume that this is part of the government's, that it seems that building efficiencies into the court system is part of the purpose of the use of this new technology. And I guess the one warning that I offered in my initial contribution was that in the United Kingdom they used a similar form of technology which they called a pilot program called virtual courts. Now the idea from their perspective was to replace some of the early court proceedings with a video link conferencing, meaning that they wouldn't have to transport prisoners, and the idea was that they would save money as a consequence. That has not been the outcome of that system for them, and they are still working on finding cost savings through that pilot program. So I guess I would issue a word of warning to the government. If that is the primary purpose of this initiative, they may wish to cost more effectively, because they haven't in the regulatory impact statement, the savings and the benefit of the system, because it does come at another cost. And I think we have to be very careful to ensure that we balance out here the fact that we're striving for efficiency gains in our court system, which are under a lot of pressure, but also ensuring that we're not undermining the very important principle of justice and giving everyone their day in court, so to speak. Now, that has been very roughly cast out in this bill, but it has been done through a set of criteria. And it does strike me that there is still an ability, even where evidence is being heard in a court case, for a potential defendant not to be present. Now, if that is the case, I think we should be very wary of that. There is a balance to be struck. We'll be looking for that balance in the Select Committee process. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.